Just 9 hours ago, a Chinese J-20 pilot locked his missiles onto a lone American B-52 over the South China Sea. No escort on his radar, no fighters within 400 miles. 90 seconds later, he was on the radio begging his ground controller to explain what was flying next to him. His controller could not explain it. Nobody in China could explain it. This is how it could happen. It is 2026, and the South China Sea is the most crowded, empty ocean on Earth. A U.S. Air Force B-52H Stratofortress is flying a freedom of navigation patrol. This is something America does regularly, flying through international airspace to remind everyone that international airspace belongs to everyone. China disagrees. China disagrees with a lot of things. The B-52 is older than most countries' air forces. It first flew in 1952. It is slow. It is enormous. It has the radar signature of a flying apartment building. To a fighter pilot, it is not a target. It is a gift. Climbing out of a coastal air base is the man Beijing sends when it wants a headline. A senior colonel, poster pilot of the People's Liberation Army Air Force. He flies the J-20 Mighty Dragon. China's pride, China's proof, the jet Beijing puts on stamps. He has 15 years in the cockpit and a spotless record. He has done dozens of intercepts, and every single time, the Americans just fly straight and take it. To him, this proves they are afraid. It does not occur to him that it might mean something else entirely. Today, his orders are simple. Find the bomber. Get close. Get the footage. State television has already scheduled the victory segment for the evening news. His radar paints the B-52 from 60 miles. Impossible to miss. One fat, slow contact, crawling across the sky at 30,000 feet. He checks for escorts. The scope is clean. His ground controller confirms it. No American fighters within 400 miles. The colonel grins inside his oxygen mask. Here is the thing about that sentence. No fighters within 400 miles and no fighters are two completely different sentences. He did not read either one carefully. He closes the distance in minutes, and then he begins the show. The first pass is a barrel roll directly over the bomber's spine. 30 feet, maybe less. Close enough that the B-52 crew can count the rivets on his belly. Inside the bomber, the aircraft shudders. The co-pilot grips the yoke a little tighter. Nobody panics. The aircraft commander keys the radio and reports the intercept in the tone of a man reading a grocery list. Because for this crew, it is a Tuesday. The colonel circles back. Second pass. Closer. He cuts across the bomber's nose and lets his jet wash rock 400,000 pounds of American aluminum sideways. Warning lights flicker. The crew does not flinch. He keys his radio and reports to ground control. The American is not reacting. The American is not running. The American is alone. He is confused by how calm they are. He is about to stop being confused. Now. To understand what happens next, you need to know one thing. The B-52 was never alone. It was never unprotected. It was never the target of this story. It was the bait. 11,000 feet above it, an F-22 Raptor has been flying in silence since before the colonel's wheels left the runway. It watched him start his engines. It watched him climb. It watched every barrel roll, every pass, every cocky radio call. The F-22 costs $143 million per unit, and here is what that money buys. To every radar China owns, it does not exist. Not hard to detect, does not exist. The colonel is flying China's most advanced stealth fighter, and the entire time he has been performing for his ground controller, a better stealth fighter has been holding a weapons-grade firing solution on him from directly above. His country's proudest machine has spent 20 minutes being watched by the one aircraft it was built to compete with, and it never saw a thing. The Raptor pilot has been patient, but patience has an expiration date. It just expired. He does not fire. He does something far worse. He flips his radar to active and lets the J-20's threat receiver finally, mercifully find him. The effect is instantaneous. Inside the J-20, every alarm the aircraft owns goes off at once. Lock, missile-class radar, 6 o'clock high, close range. The colonel's head snaps around. His blood forgets to circulate. There, above and behind him, sitting in his kill zone like it reserved the spot in advance, an F-22 Raptor, close enough to read. close enough that if this were a war, he would already be a press release. He does what every pilot does the moment he realizes he is already dead. He panics. Hard brake left, chaff, flares, full afterburner. The sky lights up like a fireworks show for one very sad audience member. The F-22 does not chase. It does not need to. Running from an F-22 is like running from your own credit score. You can go as fast as you want. It is still attached to you. The lock stays on him through the brake, through the climb, through the dive. 3 full seconds. Then it releases. He gasps. Then it locks again. Release, lock, release. The American is switching him on and off like a light in a hallway, not fighting him, grading him. And then the Raptor simply pulls up alongside. Wingtip to wingtip, same speed, same altitude, effortless. Like pulling up next to someone at a red light in a car they cannot afford to look at. The colonel stares. The American pilot looks back. Then he raises one gloved hand and taps the side of his helmet, twice, right where the camera sits. Smile. You are on film. Every barrel roll, every aggressive pass, every violation of every airmanship rule written since 1915. Recorded, time-stamped, filed. From an aircraft his government insists cannot operate this close to China. The radio crackles. Guard frequency. The one channel every aircraft, every ship, and every listening post in the region monitors. The American voice is calm, almost friendly. Nice rolls, Colonel. We got them all in 4K. Your evening news can use our footage. Ours is steadier. The Colonel does not respond. There is no chapter in his training manual titled, "What to Say When the Invisible Jet Offers You Its B-Roll." The F-22 holds formation for exactly 10 more seconds. Then it gives one slow wing waggle, the universal pilot sign for goodbye, and vanishes. He turns for home. He does not make another pass at the bomber. He plans to fly the whole way back in radio silence. The radio has other plans, because while the colonel was busy panicking, the F-22 was busy inside his systems. His radio crackles. He assumes it is ground control. It is not ground control. It is music. Kenny Loggins. Danger zone. Through his own radio, on his own frequency, inside his own cockpit, at full volume. He stabs the volume knob. Nothing. He switches channels. The music switches with him. He cannot turn it off, because he is no longer in charge of what his jet does. He has not been in charge for the last 20 minutes. He flies the last 200 miles to the Chinese coast, listening to the Top Gun soundtrack, on a loop, involuntarily. China's most advanced stealth fighter returning to base as the world's most expensive karaoke machine. He also has to explain the music. The ground crew runs diagnostics on his radio for 6 hours. They find nothing. The jet is perfect. Every system passes every test. Nobody can explain where the song came from. Nobody can promise it will not come back. Base commander reads the report. Then he reads it again. The commander calls Beijing. Beijing wishes he had not.